The biggest challenge in implementing purchase to pay isn't the technology. Neither is it getting the processes right. It's getting behaviours right. For all kinds of reasons, good and bad, people don't comply with proper processes. Sometimes they see themselves as above the process, or they see their processes as being too complex or distracting from their day-to-day work. The consequences of non-compliance go much further than a loss of control. Take expenses, for example. When people buy goods and services using the expense process, it's not just some of the important controls that we lose, we also lose visibility of that spend. The normal approach is to educate and mandate proper purchase to pay processes, but Coupa takes a different approach, an approach that actually embraces the use of expenses because it recognises that proper processes aren't always possible or even desirable.
I'm going to show you how to submit a Coupa expense. There's no need to collect pieces of paper or receipts for your expenses. Instead, you can use your mobile phone to capture an image of the receipt and email it to the system. You can then drag and drop the receipt from your wallet into the expense line. The software will recognise the amount and the description based on the subject line of your email. Once you're happy with your expense line, you can click Save and this creates your first expense line. We can add other lines which can be done manually. Coupa's also integrated with third-party systems, so you can access your corporate credit card statements and upload those to your expenses or hotel booking systems. But let's have a look at mileage claims. So you can start by simply entering the start and the end point of your destination. Because Coupa is integrated with Google Maps, it will show you the mileage, it will calculate that automatically. But what if we had to take a detour or there was traffic? We can click on Google Maps and we can change our route. Once we're happy with that, we can click Save to save our expense line. So what if we were to go off policy? I'll enter an expense for entertainment with Andy, Dave and Ellis. The amount is $150, but our policy tells us it should be $35 per head. We can see straight away this is outside policy. So when I save that, I get a warning flag saying that I'm outside the policy and a system slap on the wrist. However, if I'm a good corporate citizen and I'm very frugal, suppose I only spend $7 in this case, when I save, I'm rewarded with recognition that I've been good and I get a pat on the back. Sometimes in emergencies, we have to step outside the policy. So something that we may normally have to raise a Coupa requisition for, we might have to claim on expenses. With Coupa expense, we don't lose visibility of that spend. For example, I'll raise a expense for office supplies. We shouldn't do it, but sometimes it's necessary. Straight away, the system tells me that I should have raised a Coupa requisition for this. For example, if I enter an expense line for office supplies for $10, the system does two things. First, it will remind me that I should have raised a Coupa requisition, and secondly, it codes the expense line. This is important because although it's an expense, the details of the spend needs to be recorded and included in the spend analysis reports.
There are two reasons why the use of expenses is less desirable than proper purchase to pay processes. First of all, approval is retrospective and the approval controls are often not as robust as we'd like them to be. But secondly, from a procurement process, expense spend is virtually invisible. But the misuse of the expense process can never be eliminated. The beauty of the Coupa approach is it shines a light on that malpractice, but not in a patronising way. It treats people as grown-ups and recognises that there are occasions where rules need to be broken. But at the same time, this approach allows procurement managers to have visibility of that spend, allowing them to manage much better what the company buys in terms of goods and services.